All right, so welcome to BCH 301L. I will be your instructor, Dr. Zinat Bashir. And in this syllabus, you'll see here, there's my email address. You can send me an email for anything that you would like for this course. And my office is 101. There's my office hours, virtual via Zoom. So it's Wednesdays. I'll be available from 11 to 11:30, then 12 to 1. And then on Fridays, 11:30 to 12 o'clock. So at this time, I'll be sending you guys a Zoom link, but that does not mean that you have to be online at that time. It will be, I have automated set at that. So every time it will keep sending you at these times. So if you have question or any confusion, you can show up at that time. I will be available at the times. And apart from that, will be available if you need any appointment apart from these 3 times, okay? So here you'll see the general course information that tells this lab will run every Wednesday from 2:30 till 6:30, 4 hours. And the pre-lecture will be always here in 103, and then after that we'll go into the room 102, okay? So in this lab, what are the course goals that you're going to learn after you finish this course? So you should be trained to apply all the biochemical techniques and the principles in the laboratory setting. You should know how to design the experiment. That's how, when we will start, I'm not going to give you the protocols. It will be you who will design the experiments by looking at the manual, okay? You will read the protocol, you will read all the experiment, the setup and everything, then you will write down it on your notebook. And then you will come here, I will explain you after you will get the data, how to analyze that data, how to interpret that data. And then you will go to the lab, you'll perform the experiment, you will end up with the data. And at the same time, you will show me that data on that day only. And then after that, you will do the analysis. So if you see, so this course is meant for you to train to do the research, right? So you perform the experiment, you set up the experiment, you get the data, you analyze that data and interpret that data, and then you publish it in the form of a papers. But here you will write down the report. That's lab report, okay? All right. So obviously, whatever result is, do not hesitate to put that. Negative result is a result, because when you get the negative result, what happens is you go back, you see where you have done error. So that's, again, you are doing the brainstorming. So do not worry if you do not get the results. It's a negative result. That's okay. Be honest. Put it in your lab report. Put it on your notebook. Okay. So again, this time I've decided to divide the students into the groups. The maximum experiments you will do individually, but sometimes the experiments are long. So that time we will decide to merge the 2 students into one group, because the setup that in Biochem lab is, this is 6 feet distance that we have to maintain in the lab. So we'll decide on the day we will performing experiment, are we going to do this individually, or are we going to do this in a group, okay? And after that, you should be able to write down the reports, including the references. Again, the references is really important. Even if you have searched a discussion question on some website, it's okay to put that directly on your notebook. Always remember to give the reference, so that if your instructor wants to check where from you have taken this information, it's easy. Have you interpreted it right or wrong, okay? That are the course goals. The course material that you will be required in this semester is the textbook Modern Experimental Biochemistry by Boyer. This is the book, and I want all of you to have a copy of this at least by next week, okay? So this is the book, Modern Experimental Biochemistry by Boyer. You will require a lab notebook. I do have some notebooks here. You are most welcome to use them. But if you wish to use your own notebooks, the normal notebooks like this, that's also okay. Any notebook will work, okay? But if you wish to take them, that's good. Feel free to use them. You will require safety glasses, okay? So if you do not have the safety glasses, but I do heard that from CHM 112, you have already got one from the department. So you should be having, if you're not having, let me know so that I can arrange before the next week so that you have one available in the lab, okay? And this time you are required to use the face mask. So whenever we will go into the lab, important safety glasses, mask, and apart from that, you are required to use these face shields. These face shields, okay? So you already, I'm having one for each of you. So you will see that there is inside, when you'll open up, there is this one film. So there is this one thin plastic film. So before putting on, just remove this, okay? Otherwise you'll see fuzzy. And then just put on top of your safety glasses and mask this whenever we'll go in the lab. So I'm not giving you today because we're not going into the lab. So next week, whenever you will come, you will find them here. Yes.
Should we like start if the doctor shared their safety glasses if we look for the lab?
Mm.
If they're in the locker?
Yeah, if they're in the locker, then that's good. If not, just let me know because I might have some again left in Biochem lab, so it should be okay. But if you have your own, that's good. You're scared, that's yours. So yeah, so just let me know. Send me an email if you find till next Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So and then once you finish your experiments, I will be giving you the blue polythenes. So put these once you finish, put these face shields into those blue polythenes and write down your name on that polythenes and keep in the biochem lab, whatever, wherever you feel safe. Okay, so nobody touches that. So when you come the next time, you know where your face shield is, you can grab and use that again. Yeah. So that's in the safeties. This is just a brief that I have written here about the safety that you are required. Okay, so are required to use the safety glasses, wear face mask, wear the face shield, and you are only allowed to wear shoes or sneakers. No heels, no open-toed shoes. Long hair should be tied up, no hair open up, no short dresses, no shorts. So these are just a few points here, but you will see on the safety, general safety guidelines I've already given to you. Go through them. There is much detail that what you are supposed to do, what you are supposed to wear in the lab, and what you are not. So be considerate for lab appropriate clothing whenever you will come for performing the experiment. So about this course, so always, every time, I will be giving a pre-lecture here, explaining you how to analyze the data, whatever data you will be getting, how to interpret that into the results. So a brief lecture about the lab work, but for the protocol, you will be responsible. And the lab, again, attendance is strongly recommended, but it's not forced. If any time you decide you want to be online, please feel free to do that. But there should be, be honest with yourself because, this is a practical. So more you will learn by using yourself the experiments, by doing the experiments yourself instead of going theory. So also there is no makeup sessions. If you miss one experiment that's missed. I cannot give you the makeup because it's all set it up till I think November, whatever date. So there will be no makeup lab sessions. Also, if you decide to be online, I will provide you the equivalent of what I'm giving in person to the students. So the laboratory notebooks, so you are required to maintain a laboratory notebook. So the notebooks will be graded every week. So what you have to do on your notebooks is whenever you read the experiment that you are supposed to do that particular day, you're supposed to write down the protocol on your notebook. In a minute, I will go into a detail what you have to write onto the notebook because there is separate guidelines that I have provided for how to maintain the laboratory notebook. But here it's a brief. So until you have not shown me that you have already written the procedure for that experiment, so you're not allowed to do the experiment until that time, okay? And once you finish the experiment, you will get the data, you will write that on your notebook, and the same day you will give me, and I will sign that, and I'll give you the points, okay? I will show you how I have divided the points for your lab notebooks. So I've written here that those students who are not able to come to the campus, who want to be online, they can send me the scanned copy of the pages of their notebook when they are writing. But for this, I'm still, as I said, I'm looking, is it worth for those students to let them maintain their notebook, or I can have something else for them. So once I, finalize that, I will let you know, guys, on D12, okay? So for the lab reports, again, they are due 1 week after you finish the experiment. So I will go again through the details of what the lab report should include in a minute. So obviously, if you submit me lab reports every week, there'll be first week 25%, then second week minus 50%, then finally 0% after the 2 weeks if you submit me the report. And reports, you will scan them and put them on the D12 in the Dropbox that I will create for you for each experiment. At the end of this course, you will have 2-hour exams, okay, which is based on the knowledge what you have gone through, gains through the semester. And this exam will be online on D12, okay? So I will decide that whether it will be the multiple choice or the short type questions or any calculations. I will let you know whenever we'll get nearer to that. So the grades, that is, for lab notebooks, there are 5 experiments, and each experiment is having 20 points. So the overall is 150 points for 5 experiments. And lab reports, 100 points, and there are 5, so that means 500, and finally the exam, 200. So 850 is the number that you will get. And this is the grading system, which is absolute scale. You will get in this range. So below 60 is F. So 90 above is A, okay? Course web page, every time, everything I will upload on D12, and I will try if something I have to tell for my online students, I'll, or upload a short videos, what they have to do at that time. All right, so this was about the syllabus, academic integrity, so you can go through all this. And now after this, I will so there's another one, this the safety laboratory rules. You will find this the electronic copy of this on the D12 as well. I'm not going through this all in detail, but I would like you guys to go through this. What should be your personal behavior and what are your responsibilities in the lab? In case of emergencies or injuries, what you should be doing, how clothing and eye protection, you're responsible for that. Laboratory R's, toxicity, examples of toxicity, waste disposal. You should know where to put. If you have broken glassware, where it should go. If it's a chemical, where it should go. So familiarize yourself with all this. And after, once you finish this reading, there is the safety agreement. So I want you all of this to sign, scan, and put it on the D2L. I will upload a folder, scanned agreement on the D2L. So just scan it and put it on D2L so that when you come next time, I do have your safety agreement with me, okay? This is grouping. So let's say this. So group A, Hera, right? So you want to be in person. Okay. Kevin, so we don't know about him yet. Grace, in person. And Anne, in person. So that means for the group A, we'll see if Kevin is coming. So you are 3 in person. And group B, Mary, John wants to be online and others. Gil, in person, and Alex, in person. So that means at one point, group B will be having 3 students only, and group A also 3, if Kevin decides to go online or whatever he decides to do. All right. That's cool, because then I have 3 benches for you all. Okay, we done this. All right. Now this lab schedule. Okay, so today we are here, so which was lab introduction to discuss the syllabus, safety, notebooks, lab reports. I will be doing that in a minute, and pipette use, okay? So now after that, if you see here, it's a group A and group B. So here is the date. So that means September 9, group A will come, and group A will be doing 2 experiments. The first will be buffers and pH. So for this, I will give you the handouts. So I will try to upload it today or by tomorrow on the D2L so that you have a soft copy with you. When you come next time, there will be a hard copy for you. And the another experiment is analysis of a dipeptide. Okay, it's a part 1. So it's here you see page 237. That means it's on page number 237 of your book, which is this. Where, so if you go to page number 237 on this, yeah. So here you see page 237, I have directly started from experimental procedure, but if you see here, it's a structural analysis of a dipeptide. So next Wednesday, with your theory classes, you'll be finished with chapter 2. That means the titration which you are doing, pH and buffer, which is a titration of buffers. I'm sure I should have covered that in theory classes so that you are doing it with this, but with the dipeptide, I'm not sure, theory and lab. So it might go, you will go ahead with the lab and at the back theory. So we'll see that. All right. So in this, from here, it's all the introduction and theory. If you will see, starting about this chapter. So it's very good if you can read this, but it's very, very detailed, and there are more than one experiment, one ways of experiment that you can do. So I will tell you ahead that what we are going to do. So if we are doing the analysis, hydrolysis of an unknown dipeptide, we're not doing it with analysis by HPLC. We are doing it by analysis by paper chromatography, okay? So when you are writing the protocol of this, so write the protocol of analysis by paper chromatography, okay? So you have to write the procedure, okay, protocol. Then at the end, it's written how analysis of results you have to do, but obviously I will go through it when we will come for the next lab. In the pre-lecture, I will be explaining how to analyze your results. Okay, that's how every time you have to do. So, but here, if you see this part, next Wednesday, you are doing only part 1, just the hydrolysis. Okay, then the second part is analysis by paper chromatography. That means group 1 is meeting on September 9th, and then after that September 16th. Until that, group B is not coming. Okay, so that means 2 weeks directly to group A is working, because it's parts, part 1 and part 2. I want to finish one experiment, and then 15 days for group A to complete their report. So group B will come on 23rd, September 23rd, and we'll do this experiment here, and on 30th we'll do this experiment. And here on 16th, when group A will come, they have a due date for this experiment number 1, which is buffers and pH. They'll finish here only buffer and pH experiment, and they have to prepare the report, okay, and submit by this date. On D2L also, when I will be putting on the Dropbox experiment number 1, so I will upload there for group A, this is the deadline. For group B, this is the deadline, okay. I'm still working on that. Likewise, so that means until September, we are doing these experiments 1 and 2. Then in October, group A is doing this experiment, then group B is doing on 14th, is doing 7th, like this, okay? So forth until November, okay? So this, that means group B there, so September 4, experiment 4 is due. And on November 18th, you will be having a lab exams. At the same time, you have to submit the report for experiment number 5 as well. Is that clear? Is this how I have designed this? Good. Done. Okay. So now we go to the lab notebooks. This is a guideline that I would like you to go through this. So it's a general lab notebook setup, how the lab notebook should be. I'll show you an example, okay? And then I will go through, then I'll show you an example how it should be. So each experiment should include the title and the date of the experiment. That what is the title? Is it to do the analysis of a dipeptide? Okay, that's what the title should be. And the purpose, a brief description of a purpose, like say 2 lines, what you will be doing from this experiment. You will find that in this book, okay? So it's in length, but on your notebook, it should be in 1 line or 2 line. What's the purpose of that experiment? Then protocol should sorry, Mama. Sorry. Okay. All right. So the protocol should include your list of materials and the chemicals that you will be using. You do not have to write it in full detail as it is written in your book, but there should be the, like, you know, very important instruments or the chemicals that you have to use should be written on your notebook. So you know, okay, I need this 5 mils of NaCl. So those things should be written on your notebook so that you don't have to roam around. Yes?
Can we just write one in our notebook for the buffers and pH handout?
Yes, the protocol, because then it will, you know, when it's, I will show you in an example how, so I will upload that onto the D2L today only. So you will write down the protocol.
Okay,
Then
from the sheet.
yes, from the note handout that I will provide on the D2L. This way, when you are coming to the lab, you're opening up your notebook and you know, okay, you have to add this, you have to add 4 mils of this. You do not have to, you know, roam here and there. Yeah, you have to write for that as well. Because then when you will perform that experiment, pH and buffers, you will get the data. On the next sheet, you are writing your data on which I will assign, okay? So detailed description of the steps of experiments that you have to do, any instrument settings, and then, what I'm pressing. So there are 4 different pipette sets that you will find in your lab. So this one, you see here, 2 numbers are you able to see. So this is, so it's P10, 20, 200, and 1000. Okay. So on this, you will see here, this thingy here, small. There is written 0.5, okay, and this down 10 microliter. What does this mean? This means, are you able to see? Okay. This means this is the minimum volume, okay? And this is the maximum volume you can get when you are using this pipette, okay? So this means from 0.5 microliter, if we need, say 4 microliter, we will use this pipette. If we need 10 microliter, we will use this. If we need 20 microliters, we'll not use this pipette, right? So now how to set this up? It's very important. It's not this thing, you know. Most of the time I see students are, you know, doing with this and they say pipette is not right. It's this top knob, okay? Right now, every time, whenever we will leave from the lab, we will leave this at the maximum volume, okay, released. So this is 100, this means 10 microliters because the maximum volume that this pipette can be. So when we want to say like 5 microliters, so we just press this top knob, rotate this, okay? You will see these numbers are changing here. Are you able to see something? No, but trust me, okay? So these numbers are getting changed here. Then we have to make sure that this is very slowly, okay? And gently. This is 5, okay? You'll see this became 5, 0. So you'll see it's 100. You'll say this is 100, but no, you have to look at this. The top one is 10, that means it's a 10. And this is 5 microliters, okay? Now, when you are using this, I don't have a tip here. So when you are using the tip, so press this at the top, put the tip in this. So when you put in something, you want to take any liquid, so think that these 4 fingers should be like this and thumb should be on this, okay? Like this. And when you're pressing, press gently until this goes. Because if you press further, it will go, but then this is where the mess starts up. You do not have to push this all the way down. Very, very gently. With your thumb, press this and stop wherever it stops very gently. This is where the accuracy comes. Because you press with this, it will go further down, but it will mess up your experiment, okay? Is that clear? Very gentle with this. Press, it will pick it up. And then once you finish, and when you're taking, it will take up and then put wherever you have to drop that in, just release this, okay? This pipetting is very important when you will be doing the mole bio experiment, the last 2 experiments of this course. And another thing, when you will be putting on, you will see the agarose gel. So there are wells because the agarose gel is already in the buffer, and there are wells. You have to make sure that you are putting this sample into the well. What happened with most of the students, sample was floating into the buffer because they were not able. Sometimes you press it forcibly, bubble gets in and it takes your sample up again, and sample is in the buffer and you lose all your sample, okay? So very, very important how you handle the pipette. So when next time you come, spend like 5 or 10 minutes of the pipette use, how you are using, and try to practice whether you are putting again the right amount from here to there, okay? So that was the one, P10, and then release this again to the back of the chair. Another one is here, P20. So you know now this, it starts from 2. The top one is 2. That means the minimum volume this can pick is 2 microliters. The maximum it will pick 20 microliters. And always say this is 2, right? It's picking 2 minimum, and this is picking 0.5, and maximum is picking 10. So you have to add 5 microliter. So which pipette you will use, right or left?
Small one.
Yes, P10. Because the lesser it will is more accurate. This is P20. Although it's accurate, but this will be much, because the tip here you will see is white, small tip, and here it's a yellow tip. Right? So try to see that whenever you will be doing the experiments. So yeah, so the maximum, same thing with this as well. Same thing with this. Well, this is the one that you will rotate for changing, okay, like this or whatever. Not these, okay, and this is very easy. So pay attention. So this is 10. Okay, it looks 100, but the bottom one is 10.0. Right, point after that's not going to make sense. So this is 10. Okay. All right. So we'll release it back. So you'll see these numbers. The top one are black and the bottom is red. Okay, so that means you do not have to worry the bottom one. So all you have to pay attention to the top 2 numbers when you are looking like this. Okay. That's another way to think. If you see, right now all these 3 are black in number. That means right now all these 3 are working. It's 200 microliters. Okay, so this is 20 to 200 microliter. That means minimum 20, maximum 200. And you will see all these 3 numbers are black. But the moment will start going down. So in this also it's all black, because the number 1 down is like say 120 microliters. So all is black. You see this is going 50 microliters. So the minimum it will pick up is 20. So the bottom number will make sense in this pipette, right? It will not become red. That means you have to pay attention to the bottom number on this. Okay. So the minimum it can go is 20. 20. That's a minimum this pipette can pick. See, if you see also at the top, we just push. It's just little bit push. But if I press forcefully, it will go more down, right? We do not have to do this. It's just a gentle press. Remember to release them back whenever you leave your benches. Alright, and this one, the biggest one is 100 to 1000. So 100 microliters is the minimum, 1000 is the maximum that this can take. So you see, now in this one, the top one became red. That means you don't have to worry about the 10. If it's 80, that means it's how much? If it's 80, the top one is red. The bottom 2 is 8 and 0. How much microliters is it? 800? 800? 800? Yeah. 800, because the top one we're not seeing. See, it's the maximum is 1000 microliters, and we're trying to take 500 microliter. So we do not have to worry about the top, because the top became red and it's showing 50. So 50 means 500 microliters. Okay. In this one, 50 will become 500. Okay, so that's 50 microliters. So you have to pay attention to the maximum volume that the pipette you are using. Okay. So again, with the same, just gently press. Every pipette will go down as much as you wish, but do not force that. Okay, just gentle, gentle. Okay, and pay attention. Just, I know right now might be going over, but when you will go to the lab, try to practice this. I'll be there next time, and then pay attention how much you're picking up and how much you're leaving. Is that clear? Okay. Any questions? So far, nothing. Everything clear? So we know now one meeting. Group A is meeting from next week. 2 weeks in a row, Group A, and then Group B after 2 weeks. Okay. And in Group A, if somebody wants to go online, just let me know. Okay. Because I have to prepare your samples. I'll be try to prepare your samples on Wednesdays. So I do not have the TA, so it's me who has to do all the work. Okay, so be considerate about that. Let me know before, so I don't prepare the stuff for you. Okay, I'll prepare the stuff who's coming in person. Okay? All right. Anything else that you wish to know? Yes.
So could you just go over what we're, so for Group A, when we come in next week, right?
Yes.
We should have the hydrolysis is unknown, that section.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Group A is here, right? September 9. So on this day, you are doing 2 experiments. It's only this experiment that you have to, because analysis of unknown dipeptide is not much time. It's just that I will already weigh sample for you. It's just that you have to put that into the watch glass, add HCl, and then put it into the capillary tube. That's it. So it should not take you more than 15 or 20 minutes for that experiment. Okay, that's why I have combined these two. Then your sample is ready when you come next time for the chromatography. Yes.
Do we have to do 2 separate like entries in our notebook for part 1 and part 2, or do you want all of it in one and just like separate
So when
part 1 and part 2?
So when you will do the part 1, as you see here, I'll show you. That's why I have a notebook with different. If you see here, see this is hydrolysis of a dipeptide, right? This is purpose and this is a protocol and this is procedure that you have to do and finish. This is a reference, okay? This part finish. There will be no data because after this you have to procedure, then you have to collect the data and the results. But this part there will be no data, there will be no result because it's a continuation of another experiment, right? It's a part. So you finish here writing the reference. Then when you come next to next week, that time you will write down this. Again, the analysis by paper chromatography, protocol chemicals, purpose, and then procedure will be different, okay? So next week, I don't want this part, okay? Which is part 2, which is on page number, you see here, on this, I have given you the page number 237 and 240, part B, analysis by paper chromatography, okay?
Okay, so I'm only titling it like 1 experiment 2, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and
part
then
1, part 2.
It's a continuation.
Yeah, so experiment 2, part A, analysis of a dipeptide. So analysis of a dipeptide is the part 1 is hydrolysis. If you see here, analysis of a dipeptide is a big title, then it's a part A, hydrolysis, okay, of a unknown dipeptide, and then it's an analysis by paper chromatography, okay, that's part B. So next week, we should have a protocol for part A. Yeah, great. All right. Any other questions? Good. It's the easy, but one tip is like when we start experiments, more efficient we are if we have already, protocol with us. We know I will try my best that I will all the stuff, chemicals, everything is near to your bench so that you just perform your experiment and finish. Otherwise, if you are not prepared, you haven't written your protocol, what will happen? You will keep looking, it will 4 microliter, it will 5 microliter. And that way, we'll be here till 7 o'clock. Even, we'll be like, oh, that's what happened last time. So, even 6:30, then obviously, once the 5 o'clock ticks, you're like, I'm still in college, so I don't want to do that. So I will try to be very much efficient. So we'll start at 2:30 and take half an hour in explaining how you have to analyze the results, because again, that's the important part. it's not that only the experiment, but the analysis is very important part as well. So I'll spend half an hour, then 3 o'clock we'll go there and you'll start your experiment, okay? So that means prepare ahead, okay? So this way your efficiency will increase, all right? Any other questions? No. Great. Then we are meeting next Wednesday. Yeah. All right. Bye. Thank you.